Have you seen the battle that is happening, waging and roaring about DNA tests? And I hear that it has been turned into Luganda. Like, seriously? How far can we get? I am concerned. I know the church leaders are concerned, and I know that if you're a parent out there, you are concerned as well. The government is also concerned that, you know what, so many things could go wrong and we don't know who is right, who is wrong. We don't know whether the DNA tests are actually even right. The cropping, the clinics that are cropping up doing DNA tests, we used to look for DNA test clinics, and there used to be very few, just a handful around town. But right now, there's a huge signpost at every clinic. We do DNA. So that means that everyone's heart is on, tenterhooks, thinking, should I not? Should I do? What exactly is happening? Is my wife? And if you have any issues of insecurity, any issue, trust issues, a lot is happening. And we don't think that we want our country to be like that. So you and I are going to talk about this paternity mystery and the wave that it has caused and what is exactly happening. And to discuss this, I have Mr. Ojangole, OJ Del Gracious, the wake-up call maestro and guru.
Wow.
Drum rolls.
What an introduction.
I know, but she is here. I know he's very concerned. I could clearly see it in his face when he talked about it. Like, clearly, he had all these other, informations flying around, but he chose to take a particular angle and say, you know what, no, I am not believing in this. No, I am not believing in this. So I want to hear his view. And then we have Madame Babazi, Maureen. She is an events guru. I'm only hosting gurus today. Events planner, guru in brackets. And we're going to have this discussion. I know she's a family person. He is a family person. I am a family person 150%. And when we talk about this, we really want to highlight and see what we can do going forward and how to bring the peace back to the homes where we really need it. So welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be back here.
I can speak the whole of this hour
alone,
just solo talk.
It's possible.
I know. But glad to have you.
Thank you.
And when I saw the concern in your eyes, I felt, you're the best person to talk about.
Well, just thinking about it, it just breaks every nerve in you as a man.
Yeah.
Just to have that doubt that the kids you've been fathering are not yours.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it breaks my heart to see that this is happening and it's being popularized. And you wonder why? Why now? Why all this fuss? Why the whole seed of doubt being planted in our homes?
Yeah.
Who is benefiting in this?
I know.
So
who is pushing the agenda?
Who's pushing the agenda? And if DNA tests were really that accurate and real, why aren't they not using them in forensics, finding out who murdered who? Yeah, why aren't we not seeing reports in the case of so-and-so's death, we found this particular hair sample at the scene and the DNA came out and it's so-and-so. You mean we cannot fund that?
Yeah.
Why is it only on paternal and maternal tests?
All of a sudden.
All of a sudden. So my concerns are legit, over legit, which one is which. But I have a reason to say, enough is enough.
Yeah. Wow. Maureen.
Yes.
Where do we stand?
When I hear these DNA things happening in Uganda and very rampant, it's an attack on family. It's a very big attack on family. One, the children. When we're doing all these things, we're not minding. It's a selfish thing that we're doing for ourselves as mother and father to find out, mostly the fathers to find out whether the children they are parenting are theirs. But we've not put into consideration these children that you've raised and call you daddy. Now, where are they going after this? It's really absurd. It's absurd, yet people need to know the truth. But what's the best way we can get to find out the truth and keep these children safe
as well?
Because they're the future of Uganda. We can disorient them by just doing something as we think is small as that. Because at the end of the day, it's the man who gains. It's a fight between two adults. But there is someone who is
At
disturbed.
some point, I feel like this is a tool that has been placed in men's hands. And they've been looking to find a way of tipping the tables. You know that the ladies complain a lot,
Yeah.
cry a lot
Yeah.
about being battered, about the inequalities, about being abused, about toxicity and narcissism. I think you've had so many the cries of the women, and for so long the men are down here just you know just going on about their business. They don't want anything, and all of a sudden, and we all know. I don't know if this is really true, but I think I've had it spoken about for so long that the gentlemen don't have as much emotional control as the ladies. They can suck up a lot. They are shock absorbers.
Yes.
And so if something happens and a tool is placed in their hands, some of them will ask, should I deploy it or should I not? While the men, right now, it seems like it's catching up like a wildfire from one man to another. I think some people just, even in the corridors, one is getting in, another is coming out. Another is crying outside, another is losing weight. Another, like, there's a lot that is happening.
Yeah.
What feelings do you see these families? Because if we come from the emotional turmoil that it's causing, then I believe that we can climb back to what actually the disaster that the country is going to face, the children are going to face, because these are two people. If we go back to family, these are two people that looked each other in the eyes and said, I love you.
I love you.
What kind of emotions are welling up in those families? Because we can talk about triggers, but the triggers, I mean, yes, there are reasons as to why people go for those DNA tests.
Well, having discussion in front of two ladies, I hope I'm safe.
You're safe.
And I'm speaking
We'll
for the
box
men.
you in.
I'm speaking for the men. I've been married for 7 years, though in actual sense it's 6 years. 7 sounds good.
Yeah.
So I announced the next year ahead. But thinking of it, and I don't know if this will answer what you're asking, but I'm thinking, two of you start up a family.
Yeah.
You're two adults, you consent. You say, we're going to do this, we're going to do life. And you start out, there are some premarital counseling we do. And some of these are checks and balances. Trust, someone declaring their past.
Yeah.
And so many people skip the healthy side. These healthy tests. I think the only thing the church asks for is HIV/AIDS and pregnancy test.
Yeah.
We don't do fertility tests. You don't.
No
The closest we
sickle
do
cells.
is maybe sickle cells,
Yeah.
but we don't go for fertility test into maybe your soldiers are functioning, the sperm count. You never hear of that.
Yeah.
So you go into marriage basing on faith.
Yeah.
And we believe God for the gift of a seed of a child.
Yeah.
And when they pop up, of course, we all celebrate. The first, 100 days of your marriage, we are looking for a child. That's the project. So when your wife becomes pregnant, you celebrate, and it's now proven that
you're a man.
You are now a man.
About what were you before?
I know. So after that trial, I call them trials, rough paper. Now you have the first child, the second, the third. And now a seed is planted in you to question your child, to go for a DNA test. And it's proven that actually the 6 of them are not yours. And you're hearing this from another party. So I think as much as people are grounded in their love life, there is no way you're going to hear that the wiring in someone's home has sparked a fire, and you do not also try to think to check your wiring in your home.
Yes.
You start thinking. So the emotions in here, I think people are now walking on eggshells in their families. Yes, you love your person, but even suggesting it, should we do a DNA test? You can't.
Starting World War.
You can't. So you have fathers sneaking into bedrooms and taking samples.
And taking
And mishandling these samples. Number one, you have mishandled. You're
Yeah.
taking these samples in a mishandled way. So the emotions, I think, without even skipping any words, it's a range of many things.
Yeah.
Background information running in your head. Hearsay. Right now, social media is just throwing it in our face. Sadly, someone just committed suicide not a week ago, jumped off. So when you hear all that, you're like, the thing is keen.
It's serious.
So the emotions in there, I don't think it's a right emotional state.
Yeah.
It's not done out of love. Neither is it done out of hate. It's just curiosity.
That killed
ended
a
up
cat.
killed a cat. Yeah.
Yes.
So who is the cat dying here? Is
The
the
man.
father, is the marriage, is the home.
The
is
leader.
Yeah, the leader.
The provider.
The one
the
who
protector.
try to find out is the one who dies.
Who dies?
I know. And we definitely we can't close our eyes and say, let's turn a blind eye to all that. what is leading the men, apart from the wildfire that has caught, let me say the first ones, because DNA, like people have been doing
Yeah, it's been
DNA
around.
tests.
Yeah.
Only that they've not been
was
publicized
quiet, yeah.
and all that. What would get a man to a point of saying, you know what, let me go and do a DNA test?
I believe economy is the first reason. One, they've made wealth. They would want to hand it over to someone.
Rightful owner.
To the rightful heir.
But they have this thing, this boy doesn't look like me. This is weird. Like they have, by the parents, you have an inner spirit that speaks to you. Because you will know when something is wrong. Like mothers, we will know when our child is sick. You don't have to be there. You're like, let me call home and find out.
Yeah.
There's something in you. So as a father, I believe because they're the leaders in the homes, when they have things they're going to do, their inner spirit may not be in agreement about something. Maybe check out something like this, or find out, or give this to this. So I believe that one thing, the economy, and because if someone has everything and has nothing to lose, like they would even be free. They wouldn't even mind
Why
who
even
is who.
spend that
They
little
can
money?
exactly. Why spend that little money to find out whether this child
Because it's
is
quite
mine?
some money, I think. But right now, I think it's subsidized.
It depends
Or
on
it
where you're
has been
doing it
chopped.
from, but it's
Yeah.
still between their 300 to 400 plus.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
think wanting to protect their legacy and how they pass on their
Yes,
legacy
yes.
is one of the reasons.
One of the reasons. And another would be trust. If they feel that there is something that doesn't add up
Between them and the
and
spouse.
the spouse, they would want to find out really. And we women always put ourselves in that bad situation. We mention things when we're upset that cause these men to think twice. And like, you know, you can have an argument and I don't want my kids. Who told you they are yours? It could be an innocent.
Yeah.
Who told
It
you
could
they
be
are
as
yours?
innocent as it
Yeah.
is because
Yeah.
you're angry and
You
like,
didn't intend
Sibabo, nabana Sibabo.
Uh-oh.
So when the man hears that, men being men,
The
they
doubts.
register and they keep it in there.
Even after 5 years,
They can
still have it.
still brush it off after the argument, but it will stick in there. But the kids are not mine. She made that statement from where? So they'll start looking at the kids differently. They'll start looking for who does things differently.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, they are pushed to go
Start
and
spotting
check.
out the old man out.
The odd man out, maybe so I made my will and I had put this one. I
How
have
about
to check.
the influence from relatives? I have seen some relatives
Yeah.
who look through the children.
saying,
They're like, nah, yeah,
Saying,
no, the tallness is not ours.
and yet kids are unique.
Let me give you some relatable information. I'm a father of 3. I've just had, I think my current baby, Mugalanda, holding a position is 7 weeks. But every child, every time you have a child, you always want to find out who do they look like.
Yeah.
Mwana fanana. Then you know, I say, "Hey, amazeyo tata we, amazeyo
Mama
mama."
we-
And then the second born, the same thing. Then the third born pops up. And the little one
They are
doesn't look like
confused.
none of us.
How confused state.
And then to make it worse, for you, the parents, you can look for similarities. You're like, yeah, he has
The
the
nails.
mother's eyes.
He has the ear of an
Yeah.
uncle.
Now the relatives make it worse. They hold the baby like,
Oh, Lord.
no, bandita bafana.
Afanana nyono.
So I think you're right to say that even relatives can fuel.
Because I
Yes,
think
they
even
do.
right at the bedside, when the mother even still on the bed, like being nursed and all that, I think some men have some droplets of information drop in their
Yes.
minds.
Yes.
And even if it's the most stable home, because of the mother comes or the senga comes or the sister comes, and sometimes they forget that these people are not reliable. Number one, they have a lot of lugambo. They're snooping in everyone's business, poking their nose everywhere. And now they know, because maybe they even have a history. They've told you, you can't
Yes.
trust so-and-so's word. But when someone comes and speaks something negative, it's believable. They
seed.
grasp, like, but I also don't know who that person looks like. So before you know it, they start peeping at the baby and they're not
Peeping.
holding the baby.
Double-feet are different.
Look at
Yeah,
the feet.
double feet are like this.
Different. The eyes are tiny, yet yours are big.
When they smile, they look different, and they're like,
And then children can evolve. A baby can look like 10 or 50 people in that stage. In
Exactly.
fact, the first 1 year, kids just turn around and look whatever they want.
Yes.
So you can never look at the baby and judge. Chomwana wange siwono.
And that's a hard lesson that someone learns, and I think there is a maturity, because you can find someone who has given birth to 6 children and they're still spreading weird, crazy things about children. And yet they know that a baby is born differently and then they take form as they grow. But you will find them 6 children or even 8.
Yeah.
But they're still saying uncoordinated things. So that means it's not even about maturity or age. No, it's not. It's about getting to a point and being busy enough and knowing that I have my own things to do. They have their own things to do. I've come to congratulate them. Akagoye kakano. Mukama mulungi, mukulike, and you head back to your business.
Then still on relatives, sometimes it's so funny. The culture was, once you have a baby, you are supposed to take them for name, give them a culture name. And naming. And we used to have those grannies, though lately they are scarce. So it's a granny who would look and examine and tell. Now, the absence of grannies, now we resort to our friends and communities.
Of course.
Yeah, your peers were like,
And unstable siblings.
Very unstable
Very unstable.
Now, the elders, I'm told, for them, even if they saw that the baby is not theirs, they had a way of concealing it. And they would
tell them.
Because they knew the impact.
The impact. So right now, I think we're a bit insensitive.
Yes.
Someone will bluntly tell it in your face.
And that's exactly where I wanted us to arrive. Do you think, as not just as a country, because this is really global and whatever is happening, but this particular wave is in Uganda, do you think our emotions have destabilized over time, that we thrive more on people's pain than minding our own business, or by concealing information, or by watching thriving families? It's like we have a hunger and a thirst for negative news every time. It's like, I am not fine until I see someone who is going down, until someone is dead. It's like we know the humanity in us is fading and fading. I don't know if I'm the only one who says that.
No, that is right. Actually, the best kabozi is the bad one. That one can really move. You can have a whole day talking about something that is bad. But if you realize something good just takes a little time and then it dies off. I've noticed Uganda or African countries, a few, we love lazy talk.
Yeah.
If you're someone who is innovative and you're working and you have things to do, your mind is busy. You don't have time to sit and talk.
Yeah.
But when you realize we're very lazy people, we want to sit, we will come always late to a meeting, we'll always be late for everything, but we'll always be early when there's something that has happened that is wrong.
That's true.
We are the first on the accident scene, not to help.
And media has helped us so well.
Yeah.
Social media has really helped us. We always go on our phones to just seek out for the bad news.
We know what's happening everywhere.
But when they ask you what has been happening in the nation,
nothing.
Nothing.
Like all the bills.
When did they read the budget?
Nothing. You even don't know.
When did this one fall off the roof?
Who is the minister of so and so?
We even don't know. Our vice president. We don't know anything.
About the president.
We don't know. But
like,
they will find out who had a DNA test, how many children are off the street, who cried, we have so much detail. Who lost weight, who gained, who jumped off the roof. Like, we have a lot of bad information. And I feel that spiritually that is not good. Because we've kept ourselves, we've fed our heart with so much negativity that is what we bring out.
That's true. That's true. Because then you don't have the word of God.
You don't have the
Bible
word
says
of
that
God.
I've kept the word of God inside of my heart, so that I can, I will not sin against you. And lazy talk, that is where we sin against God. That is where we touch the anointed of God. You don't know what's happening in their lives, but now
you're talking about
you
them.
Pray, you provoke, and sometimes sometimes we don't know how curses come into people's lives, but you dug a channel that takes you straight to the curse because of your laziness, just like you say.
Out of the balance of the heart,
yes,
the mouth
speaks. Yeah.
I was looking for the African word Ubuntu, and I was looking for its dictionary here. And I grew up being told of Ubuntu. In fact, the Zulu say it, I hope I remember, Umuntu ngumuntu gabantu, meaning a human being, to live like a human being, is supposed to act like a human being. Yeah. But Ubuntu means the belief that we are defined by our compassion and kindness towards others. Compassion and kindness. The things that you will see, and because of the greater good, you will hold the information.
Yes.
And you will not, go and destabilize. I say, but we are getting marital issues. We're discussing them, on social media, on open talk, in our loose talk in salon. Sometimes use those unisex. But unisex salons that you so hey. I've been there at unisex salon and I hear women gossiping and be like, everything
that has
about
happened.
But for me, as in you're going back to the same husband, but you're busy undressing and talking about
exposing
all the filth,
all your dirty laundry to everyone there. So Ubuntu is dying out, and I think it's either the westernized culture, capitalized system. The African mindset is I am because we are, not I am because I am. But now because that is taking over of I am because I am. So whatever I do to make me happy, I'll do it. Whether it damages you, whether it affects you, same thing.
When you talked about this damaging family, and I think you share in that notion, and I also understand that angle of this is actually an attack on family, because while we have all agendas that are being pushed, they're like knobs. Someone is pushing an agenda, and in order for that agenda to actually gain popularity, they have to push down certain buttons in order for that agenda to gain popularity. Is that like a power play thing of how far can we go, how many masses can we affect, how can we recruit as much as possible, or how can we discourage? Why do you think that agenda is being driven? Because again, we don't want it to sneak up on us. We should be able to be vigilant as a family, as a church, as a government, and as a people that are really concerned about family and know that that's the way of life. If the family dies, the nation dies, and there is no two ways about it. How are these things coming in so that we can open our eyes and be vigilant?
Maybe if I could chip in first here. I want to relate it with the fight against HIV/AIDS. As a country, Uganda was praised for its campaign, ABC. In fact, it was A and B. A for abstinence, B for being faithful, and then C for the high-risk people. Malaya, you use a condom. Now, the world actually came to Uganda to learn from us because our HIV prevalence
rates came
down. So how are you guys doing it? How are you managing to bring HIV down? Now, our tool was exported to other countries, the AB, abstinence, being faithful. In fact, the president, we uphold him for that. He was forefront in drumming, in HTU, Our campaign worked. We saw serious results. People with HIV, number kept down. But it was not making money. What makes money are the pills, are the condoms.
That's true. And the help.
And the help.
So
people are looking at how do we cash in this scandal and pandemic.
Monetize it.
They now started beating the AB approach. They say it's for Christians, it's for what, it will not work. So they first started with abstinence. They said, they hit it seriously.
And they took condoms to schools.
They took condoms to schools like no.
So now that you get high risk.
Yes.
And then they increased them. Then they attacked B, being faithful in marriage. If you remember, not so long ago, there was a huge billboard as we're heading to Zambia, targeting, I think it was saying that
it had those who syndicate kind of
sexual network.
Sexual network.
And they said that married people.
Was it yellow in color? It must have been yellow.
And they say that married people are what? They commit more adultery. There's more adultery in married people. But they were hitting the B, In other words, you cannot stop A being
so
faithful.
for us, we are consuming the advertisement, but we don't know that it's someone's agenda.
Agenda.
It's
Yes,
someone's
they are pushing
tool.
an agenda.
They are beating down some.
So after telling us to get off the sexual network, they started drumming for C, which is condom. Now the campaign which was AB ended up being C alone. So right now there's
Which died out.
Condom and everything.
condom, and pills. Now bringing it to this DNA thing, how it's attacking the marriage. We all know that a family, if you're raised when mommy and daddy are together, it's a stable family. Kids from a stable family, of course, they
Stable
perform
families,
well, they
yeah.
make
Yes.
families perform well, the crime rates go down.
Yeah.
Now, if you're going to destroy that, you're going to make people not look forward for marriage. Because everyone wanted to have a child when they are married. But now they're telling you that even in marriage,
There are issues.
there are issues. So marriage is not ideal. A family is not an ideal setting. Which family was the basic unit in the society?
Yeah.
Where morals are instilled in kids, values and principles. So if you destroy that, what are the alternatives?
We actually have nothing holding us together.
Now, the alternatives is what we are fighting as a country, the LGBTQ, what, those preferences. So they're telling you that marriage is no longer the ideal. Family is not ideal. Why bother? Why dream towards that? So you can...
You can have as many options
Yeah.
as
you
possible.
can go to this other option.
You can even be
The new
single. You can live childless. You can, like, we have everyone offering something.
Yeah.
So they are marketing these options through beating what actually is working. It's a campaign. If I want to market my product, I can either use the advantages of my product or use your weakness to push my... So they're using the weakness in the family institute.
In the family system.
Systems.
To show that even when you're looking for the stability of a normal
It is
family,
not there.
It is not there.
You can't find it there.
So that's why we have a promotion for single mothers. They call them what? Power women.
Well, the empowered one, what are
Empowered women.
the single women movement? What is that?
The campaign that drums as, you know, those
Independent
independent,
women?
yes, single mothers,
like-
independent, they call them boss ladies.
Yes.
So they are pushing the whole thing of one, you know, one person can raise a family.
A family.
You can have a family of you and your
Yeah,
child.
and I've seen of recent they're also bringing it along the lines of men, that you can actually be a single father, and be okay.
Which other way can you know, succeed at doing that apart from attacking?
Yeah,
And showing that this is failing.
Yes.
This is,
If you're thinking this is the source
This is
of
not the
love,
pride.
the source of security, the source of
It's failing.
safety, it is failing. So, I mean, choose whatever you want to choose.
You're comfortable with.
Oh my God. One thing I know for sure is, as we talk about all these things, I know that at some point, if you're really, really honest with yourself, you also got concerned about the same issue. Ask yourself, why is it? Why now? Why is it, I mean, media is giving it a lot of attention. And why is it that it has, I mean, this time, right now in our country, families, what are we doing? I know that you've gotten concerned. And so I just hope that we can also open up our minds to be able to see all these different outlets and the options that we have, and be able to go back and ask ourselves, what can we do? And that is what we want to ask ourselves. How do we get out of this? How do we heal from this? And the children that have been affected and traumatized, how do we even help? Okay? Because there are those women that have been left shattered. Okay? Just imagine you go to a DNA place, they tell you they're not your children, they tell the man, the woman is 100% sure they're your children.
Yeah.
He can't say, you know what, what are the inconsistencies, there are errors in technology. She can't say that. And now she's off to the streets with her children without a father, and the shame, and the families are both looking down on her, and she has to piece together her broken pieces and be able to function again as a human. That means we're going to see a lot of street children coming back. That means we're going to, and those are the things that we want to talk about. So get a water, get a coffee, come back, let's finish this conversation.